Hello, my name is Meindert Boysen. I'm the chair of one of the 3 policy fora of HTAi. The one I chair is the Global Policy Forum. It is a group of for-profit members of HTAi, organizational members. You can imagine pharmaceutical companies, medical device companies, and a not-for-profit group, 2020 or 1919. And the not-for-profit are mostly HTAi organizations, but also others, so patient organizations, for example. We've been going since 2003, and our main objective is to have a place where these 2 normally not connecting groups of people, at least not formally connecting, can talk about topics that are dear to their heart, that are policy related, and that are best discussed in an environment of trusts. And we use things like Chatham House rules to make sure that we keep it within kind of the walls of our conversation. The output of our policy forum are academic papers that you might have seen in the International Journal of Technology Assessment in Healthcare, but also other outputs like task forces, and we're intending to publish much more and engage many more of the members of HTAi. See, the policy forum, nowadays, healthcare is so complex. You cannot do things alone. So as an HTAi profession, we could say, well, you know, from our HTAi organizational members, we would do HTA in our kind of own bubble. But of course, we are part of an ecosystem in which our friends from the for-profit organizations are critically important. And the beauty of the Global Policy Forum is that the people that attend it are often decision makers within their own company. So they can help us make the companies understand how important it is to interact with HTA systems in their countries, or even start developing them, but because that's not everywhere the case. So it provides for a safe harbor in which conversations about difficult topics can be held.
So my name is Dan Ohlendorf. I am the outgoing chair of the HTAi Global Policy Forum. So I served in this role for 5 years. And I do have a few favorite topics from the recent previous years. My first topic is one of my favorites. In 2020, we determined that there could be a list of shared principles of deliberation in HTA, the deliberative process in HTA. And so we as a group discussed and collaborated and produced a list of principles and supporting actions for deliberation. But then that became the springboard for a joint society task force with HTAi and ISPOR to create a much more complete list of principles for deliberation, as well as a checklist for any country or organization seeking to develop or refine its own deliberative process. So that was a very rewarding topic. A couple of other recent themes focused on communicating uncertainty in HTA. So oftentimes when HTA is evaluating evidence, we're faced with the prospect of trying to communicate to those who are not really as understanding of the analytic approaches we take, the uncertainty that we see in that evidence. So oftentimes we're not sure how shorter-term data will translate into longer-term outcomes, or sometimes we have very small studies and we may lack precision in those estimates. And so this was a very important topic as well. That also became the springboard for another joint society task force, this time with DIA, to create a much more detailed approach to trying to understand how best to communicate and consider uncertainty in HTA. And then I'd say for the third topic, we've recently just discussed the kinds of collaborations that HTA agencies are involved with, sometimes with regulatory agencies, sometimes with patient groups and other stakeholders, sometimes with other HTA bodies. But on occasion, those collaborations are very unclear in terms of what the goals are, what the shared responsibilities are, etc. And so it's very important to really understand in a detailed way why you're entering into a collaboration and what the benefits are likely to be before you do it. And so now we're planning some activities around how to document some criteria for HTAi to understand when a collaboration is a good idea and when it's not. Yeah, so there's always a number of standard approaches we take to sharing the outputs. So first of all, the discussion itself that happens in January of every year is informed by a very comprehensive background paper that's developed by our scientific secretary. That becomes a public document, so it's open to anyone, whether you are a member of the Global Policy Forum or not. After the meeting itself, there is a summary of the meeting, of the background for the meeting and the meeting itself that is turned into a publication in the International Journal of Technology Assessment in Healthcare, the Society's journal. So people are available to read, can read that publication if they would like. And then finally, we just had this today, at the annual meeting there is always a panel discussion which also summarizes the background and the discussions that were held at the Global Policy Forum, and then talks about ways to extend what happened at that meeting into additional actions that could be taken.
Hello, I'm Guy Madden and I'm the current Asia Policy Forum Chair. This is a role I've had now for the last 3 years and built on the background of Brendan Carney, who started it approximately 9 years ago. The main objectives of the Asia Policy Forum is to bring together industry that works in the area along with the agencies throughout the countries of really Southeast Asia and Northern Asia. We also include India and Bhutan in our group of countries that we are involved with. And on the whole, we try and give a forum where ideas can be shared in a safe environment where the ideas are widely promulgated, but those that bring them up, it's kept in a Chatham House rules environment. The outcomes and the deliverables of the Policy Forum are shared with the HTAi community in a number of fashions. We certainly bring together all of the information and produce a publication that usually appears in the Society's journal. But not everyone reads that and is often very late, so we also run a panel at the HTAi meeting, which is normally about 6 to 8 months after the Policy Forum, where the highlights are brought to an audience who can question us, interrogate us and ask us whether or not the types of issues we covered were well addressed. We also do encourage individuals to talk to us, and we have started a series now of webinars designed to reinforce the lessons learned from the Policy Forum at about March or April after the session has been held. HTAi members can get involved with the Policy Forum in a number of ways. I've already mentioned we run the panel at the conference, we run a publication as a result of the work, but also agencies that have a genuine interest in the Asia region can certainly put up for membership, and we'd be very receptive to that. And we're particularly open to industry to join us and provide some of the challenges and insights that they can offer. So really, for those groups that are active in HTAi in the region, the door is always open.
Estimados amigos y amigas, soy Manuel Espinosa, el Chair del Policy Forum de HTAi para Latinoamérica. Nuestro Policy Forum en Latinoamérica es una instancia única que ha logrado reunir representantes de organizaciones con y sin fines de lucro, además de representantes de la sociedad civil, en particular grupos de pacientes. Hemos logrado construir una comunidad a lo largo de la región que nos reunimos año a año para discutir temas relevantes que han sido definidos por nuestros propios participantes y que han determinado la agenda de trabajo en los países de nuestra región. Hemos logrado a lo largo de los años contar con una participación constante de representantes de las organizaciones gubernamentales y de la industria y de la sociedad civil, que nos ha permitido obtener una comunidad trabajando sobre los principios de respeto y de confianza. Hemos logrado establecer una agenda a lo largo de los años a partir de la identificación de los tópicos que más nos importan. En los últimos años hemos trabajado sobre los tópicos de evidencia del mundo real, acuerdos de riesgo compartido y, más recientemente, el tema de escaneo del horizonte y el diálogo temprano entre los distintos actores que conforman el espacio de HTAi. Es esperable que en los próximos años sigamos buscando espacios de conversación sobre los temas del futuro que llegan a nuestro quehacer. Esperamos de que conforme seguimos construyendo esta comunidad de práctica y de confianza, podamos avanzar significativamente en el desarrollo de nuestros temas y el desarrollo de la evaluación de tecnologías en salud en Latinoamérica. Nuestro Policy Forum valora enormemente esta composición de actores entre aquellos que vienen del mundo privado, en particular de la industria de innovación y de los gobiernos. Hemos creado un espacio de confianza e invitamos en particular a los actores de la industria farmacéutica y de dispositivos médicos y de innovación a ser constantes partícipes de este espacio y de esta construcción de confianza. Los valoramos y esperamos seguir aumentando nuestra capacidad de generar discusión sobre los temas que nos importan para nuestra región.